Okay, so you're in Japan, you want to try sake, but you're not familiar with some of the terminology in Japanese. So today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the basics as far as terminology that will help navigate the Japanese sake experience. If you are someone that you like something on the sweeter side, you may ask for a sake that is Amakuchi. And on the opposite of that, if you want a sake that is dry, you would request a sake as Karakuchi. And if you want something extremely dry, you would ask for a cho Karakuchi, which means basically just super dry. Another sake I really enjoy are the namas. Nama sake is unpasteurized sake, simply. By default, you can assume most sake has been pasteurized. If a bottle is nama, it will be clearly identified as nama. The namas tend to be very lively. They're kind of fresh, and a really fresh nama will have even some effervescence on it. It's lively on the tongue, almost a little spritzy-like. It's very pleasant. It's a very good starter sake. Another term is a Moroka. The word Moroka simply means a sake that has not gone through a charcoal filtration. Part of the process of making sake or brewing sake is this charcoal filtration, which actually removes the natural color of sake, which is this yellow hue. In the old days, Japanese would think the more clear the sake is, the more pure it is. So that's the reason they've removed this natural color. A Moroka style is something that matches up really well with like grilled fish or even grilled meats. Another term that I do enjoy is a sake that is a genshu. Genshus tend to be more viscous, they're more full-bodied. The word genshu means undiluted. Most sake that's brewed has water added to it. This water helps bring the alcohol content a little bit lower. So genshus will tend to be a little bit higher in alcohol, usually ranging between 17 as high as even 19%. That takes us even to another term, yamahais or kimotos. So this is more about a method of how the sake is made. These two styles, they are slightly different from one another, and simply put, the kimoto has a pull ramming process for the yeast starter, whereas the kimoto doesn't do the pull ramming method. But these two styles of sake tend to use a natural in-house yeast. So these can be a little bit more random. They have more lactic acid. It uses a local bacteria that's floating in the rafters of the building that's used to make the yeast starter. Very similar to some of the sour beers that are made in Europe and America. So these are sake that tend to be a little bit more funky. They match very well with a lot of grilled meats, grilled fish, and even some cheeses. So these will tend to have a higher lactic acid content. Not necessarily the type of sake that matches up with a sushi or sashimi. They'd be a little overpowering for that. These tend to be a little bit more robust. The term for a warm sake is called atsukan. If you want to request a sake that is warm, ask for it as atsukan. You can enjoy a sake that's chilled, and you may think that's probably not your style. Let it sit out a little bit. Let it get to room temperature, or perhaps even warm it up. It will totally transform the sake. Another very valuable Japanese term when you're in a sake shop is Osusume. So Osusume simply means, what is your recommendation? If you have some of these basic terms down and use it in conjunction with Osusume, it will oftentimes lead to a nice discovery. Such as, for example, Karakuchi, Osusume, Moroka nama genshu, Osusume, nama Moroka, Osusume. If you wish to expand and explore your sake tasting palette, I recommend that you join me at my sake tasting room, the Meishu Center, Yokohama, just a 5-minute walk from Yokohama Station. Details on the link below. I hope to see you there.